We'll be on now. So you like our set, do you, Reg?
Beautiful.
So you're going to say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody.
Excellent. We have the start of a fantastic show today. As we're building up our set, we have Astro Boy as our special guest, Mr. Reggie Weinreich on my left, and you know me, Henry Roth. Welcome to The Stories I Told My Son. And we were talking about so today, just to give you a very brief outline on what we're actually doing before we talk about it, is first of all, how was your week? So first of all, just to have a rundown, we're going to be talking about our week, what's been important to us, a couple of revelations for me, and then we're going to hand it over to Reggie to talk about the power of one. Two men and a frock. Right. By the way, what would have happened if I would have been into wearing frocks?
I'd have to supply frocks.
You'd have to supply me with frocks? If I was the kind of guy that wore frocks, you'd supply me with frocks?
Frocks.
Are you pleased that you don't have that on your expense account?
Absolutely. Trousers are cheaper.
Trousers are cheaper. So you're relieved that you got the son that is not as expensive as I could be if I was... It was not about the fact that I would be wearing a frock, it's the cost of it, is it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yes?
Yes.
That's what's called being put on the spot.
Right.
Talking of being put on the spot, here's your couture water. So I was telling my dad about some of the experiences that you have when you are actually in a green room waiting. And I was giving my father the idea of, people like Madonna and Britney Spears and what they have written in their contract before they go on air. So I was saying to my father, what happens when we get our contract? What will you expect? Like, I can only prepare for you at the moment water. What would you expect actually to be in your rider on the contract?
A bottle of kosher caramel wine from Israel.
A bottle of kosher caramel wine. People don't drink that stuff. It's so bittersweet. You drink it.
I love it.
You love it. So you go on half drunk onto the show?
No.
Just to sit for Dutch courage.
Oh.
Do you ever get nervous, by the way? L'chaim, everybody. L'chaim.
Chaim.
No, tell me, where's my clink? Hello?
L'chaim.
Okay, so the summary of this week has been extremely positive. We've just put another chapter to bed for our memoir. My father being the memoir giver, I'm being the author, and Astro Boy being one of the editors. And basically, it was the rabbis and the riddles. I'm speaking to Kim on tomorrow at her 11:30 at night New York time, our time here 1:30, with the final few little tweaks. It reads extremely well, giving people an idea of your background in the 1930s as leading up to your escape from Channel. But I think the most important thing this week, for me anyway, was the revelation of the power of one. Because I've been speaking to a lot of people about, this isn't just about my father's past, but also what's relevant about what we can learn today. And you look at the world, it gets more frustrating by the second, more distressing sometimes. And the real conclusion, and that's what's going to shape this memoir, is, you told me earlier on, the power of one. So you said to me in one of our last recordings about how you're happy if every day you touch somebody. What do you mean by that?
You're talking about frocks.
I'm talking not about frocks, now people,
Yeah,
when you speak to people, not frocks yet, Reg,
yeah.
But we're talking about...
I was born in a
No, Reg, before we get to that, you told me in one of our last recordings about how for you, every day you have the capacity to speak to people that need to be spoken to, that you touch their lives. It's not about a big organization, it's about the power that we all have one-on-one. What do you mean by that?
To give you time and understand the other people's troubles.
And where they're coming from.
If you understand it, then you can give them advice, and advice has got to come from your heart.
But what about day to day? You want to touch a person every day. That's your goal in life.
Absolutely.
All your life.
All your life.
To make a difference in their lives.
Absolutely.
Well, every day I get that from you, so you don't need to look after me anymore.
That's why the people are looking forward for me to go to the synagogue.
Because you help them. You help people. But not just in the synagogue. I see, you're the type of person that walks down the street and literally, you speak to everybody. I'm like, Reg, we don't do that in Sydney. He said, I don't care what we do in Sydney. I'm going to speak hello to this person, that person, and afterwards I say, do you know that person? No. Unbelievable. So that's what you mean.
Yeah.
How was the week? How's it been? What have you been up to?
The week was magnificent.
Busy?
busy. I went yesterday was Saturday.
Yeah.
I went to the synagogue in the Bondi Junction, and they had a tremendous, beautiful choir, and I enjoyed it very much.
Were you singing with them to help them along because you like to sing?
Yeah, I sing in the background.
By the way, you had some kind of procedure, didn't you? On your face somewhere, on your leg?
I'm going to have.
Are you going to have? What's going on with your leg here?
On tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's happening tomorrow, is it?
Yes, the fellow is going to cut out a little bit of
Growth.
unnecessary.
That's why you're a little bit unnecessary. That's why you're a little bit pensive today. I can see.
Not at all.
No.
I'm not worried
Okay.
because we're lucky to have the best doctors in the world.
You told me last week. So you said last week I'm going to definitely be in such and such a place and such a time. I come there, Mum's there. Said no, this is just making the appointment for the appointment. So I said it's not a problem.
Right.
Anyway, so we were talking about
Tzedakah.
well, charity. It's actually the power of one, because we're going to go back to it's back to the past to move forward. So what actually we're talking about your tradition, your heritage in the wedding dress field arena.
I'll tell you something.
Paint us the picture.
I remember as it was happening now. I told you before. I come from a small shtetl, Shanu.
Which is a village, the Yiddish word for village, yes.
Yeah, 15,000 people.
Yes.
And I always remember, till today, my grandmother was not well. She was a sick person.
And when you say sick, we don't, now where my father comes from, in our tradition, when we don't talk about these things because it gives it oxygen. But basically she had cancer.
Yeah. So instead of she dying in bed at the time, she decided no. She sat in the chair in front of a house.
Yes.
And she knew what is going on in the shtetl.
In the whole village. So she sat in front of her home.
Yes, because, you know, the shadchan,
the matchmaker.
Matchmaker was passing by, and he told
Malka was her name, right?
Malka and Mr. Schreiber, you know, I've got good news for you. Such and such a getting married.
So just after the parents knew when the couple was getting married, Malka, who was sitting outside of her home, was the second person to know.
And she said, oh, immediately, I've never forgotten, she said immediately, I know this family because
you knew everybody.
Everybody knew one another.
Did they really? So you knew everybody's family from their grandparents, you just knew?
We knew everybody.
Yeah.
And Malka said to the fellow,
yes,
I know that they're not the richest people in town.
Yeah.
Send her to me.
So she would just say straight away, send her to me.
And the color came, you know.
The bride to be came,
came, and she said, look, there's no problem for me, right? And she donated for her a frock. And not only the frock, but my grandfather was going crazy. After the wedding, they had what's name, breakfast, dinner, or whatever.
A breakfast. So they had, after the wedding, they had a lunch or a breakfast, yes.
Right? And she said, look, it's going to be in our home. And the grandfather said
it's going to be in our home?
And the grandfather, we've got a synagogue, we've got a hall. And I have never forgotten what she said. Nisbescheinen a Yiddish kind. You have to make a Jewish girl more beautiful than she is.
So but today that would translate is every woman deserves to look the best on her day. That's what that means today, yes?
And they have.
So 1 minute. So she would. But the thing is, you also told me you came from a Hasidic tradition, which is the closest thing that people can understand that to is Madonna and her whole Kabbalah thing. Hold on. And it was very spiritual, and it was all about kindness. And you told me before, when we were writing the book, that the whole thing about charity is you didn't let the person feel like they needed it.
On the contrary, you made them feel that they're doing you a favor.
You're doing you're doing them a favor by you donating to them.
Yes.
So how did she coin the phrase? How did she make a?
She said, look, I know a wonderful
alteration person, seamstress, yes,
and she'll make you a beautiful dress. And my mother took the color because my grandmother couldn't
right.
walk.
She couldn't even walk anymore. Yeah,
Right.
she was that sick, was she?
Yeah,
yeah,
she was very sick.
yes.
She took the color to the dressmaker, and they made a frock for her.
But how did they make it feel that it wasn't charity? They didn't even talk about money.
Not that they did.
How?
They made her feel that
she's doing them a favor. Ah, so if she wouldn't be doing the dress with them, they wouldn't be so blessed. So they made it. Thank you so much that you're letting us do it. Letting us do it. And here in our world now, it's like, look what we've done for you. Opposite. Doesn't work like that. Wow.
There was a city which not only, I've told you before, not only parents love their children and the children love the parents, strangers loved one another.
That was the vibe. That was the energy. So she said, she had the whole dress made up. But what else did you, and you did the whole reception.
Yeah.
But you told me basically you dressed them from top to toe. And the groom too, the whole lot.
And what's his name? My grandfather said, "What is girl doing? The fellow has got a job. He hasn't got a job. How are you going to keep it going?"
Yeah.
She said, I've got no problem with this. You've got a big office. You're a rich man. He's going to work for you.
And she didn't even know about the groom. She never even met the groom. So she said to her husband, "Listen, don't worry. He's going to be perfect for your business."
Yeah.
And she didn't even know what he did.
Yeah. And
she didn't even know his skills.
My grandfather said she has got no idea about business.
No idea. But
he'll learn.
He'll learn. And he took him on? Unbelievable. So that has got very deep structure in our lives, the whole bridal thing.
Yeah.
And did Granny, that's your mother, did she help as well?
And how?
What did she do?
She did the
reconnaissance mission.
You know,
she made it all happen.
She
made it happen.
So what did she did the leg work.
She did the leg work, did she? So Malka, her mother, she was running like crazy. Unbelievable. And she always did the leg work all her life.
And that is why that is one reason where we're in bridal in Sydney in Australia.
And the world. Why is there a reason?
This is the reason.
Because also, of the connection of...
Yes, also your mother, made a frock for,
no, it was more. During the Holocaust, she was sewing Nazi uniforms.
And she said, if I get out of here
alive,
I'm going to make the most beautiful dress that a woman likes.
That she can wear. Right.
Bridal dress.
Right. Because to bring it all in, it was about the fact that besides everything and all the desolation behind you, what you brought to the picture was wedding dresses in our family mean future, hope, good chapters, not sadness, it means happiness.
And as you know, Henry.
Yes, Mr. Weinreich, what do I know now?
We gave away dresses for nothing.
But we don't talk about that, do we?
Yeah.
But isn't that what you said?
We did.
But we don't talk about that.
No,
we don't talk about that. You just told me about how much we don't talk about it. Have you become a bit westernized, have you? Because you said in our tradition, we don't talk about that. But what I will say...
And I was very proud of you.
No, we're not going to talk about how proud of you are. No, not from now. So anyway, so that's really very interesting. And so I think
this is called stacker.
So then what we have to do is we're going to take... The whole thing is the memoir's really shaping up, and I have a new tagline for us, which is called A Journey Back, Direction Forward, or something along those lines, as we're formulating. Because I want to explain to everybody watching us today, thank you for joining us. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Obviously the story's unfolding. It's real-time story. So it's like my father and I actually did sit down. We did do 6 months worth of audio. We are now editing and writing it as we go along, and we're learning along the way. And the main key thing I learned this week from Paris, and I spoke to Rubina, I spoke to Jackie in New Zealand, I spoke to Wendy in New York. Actually, that's all from 4 different people from around the world. What from New York? Well, what they're saying to me is that what's resounding, what people are looking for is a reminder, not just of the past, but what we do about the world today. And now is the time for us to throw the stone of goodness into a pond and let it ripple. The ripple effect is really, really, really important.
important.
So we
And
so,
also
yeah.
we've got a saying in Yiddish.
Yes.
And if you throw bread on in the sea,
Yes.
on the river, it comes out double the size.
And how do you say that in Yiddish?
When
Anyway, so thank you, Elizabeth, for joining us, and Philip, and all of the other people that are joining us today. The whole concept with this whole thing is actually the Stories I Told My Son project. So from all of this, it's good to talk, and certainly you can see we know how to talk, and I got that from this man here with our green room champagne. But the most important thing is that some action, some activity, implementing what my father has taught me, specifically at a time 50 plus. I've done a lot of things in my life. I think it might resonate with a lot of people listening and watching today that want the direction, that want to have a bit more purpose in life, that want to understand a little bit more about what it all means and how to make sense of it. So from all this talk and the book and the energy and the memoir, something that we'll be able to put on our fingers on solidly will take place. And that's when we're going to really be calling in on your support and your involvement, if that interests you. So I think we've done very well. What time is it, Mr. Weinreich? Not bad. We've done a half an hour. Interestingly enough, he used to
time to have lunch.
He used to terrorize us with the clock. So what my father used to do, especially when we were at school, if we said, Reggie, what time is it? Quick, we're running late, right? So we'd be running late, and he always turned all the clocks, probably you guys have had the same experience, 20 minutes early. So we get to school and no one was there. I was like, but you said we were running late. But anyway, so are you enjoying the process?
Very much.
Why?
Because I feel that through my young age, I have got some experience in life.
Yeah, I do.
And I see perhaps things which a young person doesn't see.
Yeah, that's right. And so you want to impart that.
I want to
share it.
To share it and make sure that I come across clearly.
That's right. And you've got me to do that, so I better make sure that's clear, right?
I know how.
So then, when I was, you got a son, right? You were dreaming if you get out of the Holocaust, you'll be good and you'll get... Did you get what you expected, you hoped for?
Much more than I expected.
How much more did you get? Too much to handle? Sometimes.
To start with.
Yeah, here we go. True confessions of a frustrated father, and next week's Father's Day, yes.
To start with.
Yes.
You look like me.
That's a bit much to take on, isn't it? On that note, can we wish you a fantastic week?
All the best.
High five you. And by the way, good luck with that thing tomorrow, whatever you're doing, because we don't talk about it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for caring. Stay tuned. Things are developing. Websites, but most importantly, there's something brewing. And I'll give you a hint. It's what we talked about today. My father doesn't even know, because I've sworn my father to secrecy. I've said, look, this is a really important project, and it's the boys against the girls. The girls wrote their book, and they're waiting on the sidelines. They're waiting to see what we're doing. Can Henry deliver? Will Henry deliver? Does he know what he's talking about? So of course that really gears me up to make sure it's the best book in the world, right?
Absolutely. It will be.
By the way, do you think we'll outsell Mum's book?
100%.
We'll outsell Mum's book.
Yes.
So no one knows this, but we're actually probably going to dedicate the book to those women in our family.
Yes.
Thank you for leaving us in peace. Anyway, next week is Father's Day. Will you be here for a special guest appearance for Father's Day?
Father's Day?
Yes, Father's Day.
Is important.
Why?
Right.
To be left alone?
Because
Why?
I feel that the children love me.
You don't feel that every day?
No.
You don't feel that?
I'm just joking.
My father's on one, but so now, and my father's like, he really wants to see this book published quickly, hurry. And I said to him, I have a really good friend, and you'll be really pleased to know they told me to enjoy the journey. So I'm not to be rushed.
I'm enjoying the journey.
But you want to see the book?
Yeah. And the Russian saying,
yes.
Тише будешь, дальше едешь. The quieter you go, the quieter you go, the further you get.
Wonderful. I'm going to be posting the promo that we did today, and every week, I'm a real music fanatic, I don't know about you guys, and it's called Lola's Theme, and the lyrics specifically for this week really, I think, help describe what we are trying to get across and we will be getting across as long as it's what you want to hear and read. We will resonate, and we're going to do our best to make sure that we do. Say goodbye, Mr. Weinreich.
Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.
Astro says goodbye, thank you very much. And this is me, Henry, saying thank you very much for joining in. We promise to do our best to deliver what may be of assistance, to share, and there's going to be many more ways we're going to start opening up our communications and really hearing from you. So, from Reggie and Henry, thank you, and whatever you're doing, make it very successful. Bye.
Bye. All the best.